Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Should You Play, where I show you some spoiler-free gameplay and give you my thoughts after playing new games for a few hours, while also highlighting and checking out at least one of the PlayStation Plus games for each month. In this video I'm playing one of the May 2025 PlayStation Plus games, ARK Survival Ascended, the 2023 remake of the survival sandbox game ARK Survival Evolved, which originally released as an early access title in 2015. I know a lot of people love the ARK games, but I'll be upfront here. I'm not enjoying this one very much, and a large majority of this review is going to be about the first few hours of gameplay rather than the game as a whole, because I ran into a ton of bugs and glitches that really hindered any attempt I made at progress. I do enjoy the survival sandbox genre, Minecraft, Subnautica, and Don't Starve included, but there's a lot about ARK Survival Ascended that's making this one hard to enjoy. I'm not intentionally looking for things to criticize here either. The game does have some great qualities, but a lot of faults as well, so let's just talk about it.
Everything depends on your survival.
The big reason as to why I didn't make much progress in the 20 or so hours I played ARK Survival Ascended was largely due to bugs and glitches. I encountered several major issues while playing, including 3 game crashes that caused me to lose significant progress, multiple instances where my corpse didn't show up after I respawned, preventing me from retrieving my inventory, and one instance where my initial session just straight up disappeared when I booted the game back up. There were also a lot of smaller, non-game breaking issues that I ran into as well, with frame rate drops, stuttering, assets popping at close range, and rubber banding in online servers being the most noticeable ones. For those of you who've been watching my reviews for a while, you know that even if I don't enjoy the game personally, I try to point out the aspects that I think will appeal to other players, but when bugs, glitches, and performance issues prevent me from making any real progress in 20 hours of play, I think I need to be as transparent as possible about how that impacted my experience. Moving on from the game's bigger issues though, ARK Survival Ascended does have a story, but it's not told in a traditional structure. You play as a customizable character that wakes up alone at a mysterious location, or with others if you're playing multiplayer, and you find yourself surrounded by dinosaurs and strange technology. After that, your immediate goal is to survive and thrive in your new environment, and the story is doled out in small doses as you progress through the world, defeat bosses, and find explorer's notes. If you manage to get far enough, the story is actually pretty interesting, but know that it'll likely take you a long time to get there. ARK Survival Ascended is a survival sandbox game that can be played alone or with others, and aside from trying to survive, you'll be crafting tools, building shelter, collecting resources, taming and hunting creatures, traversing vast landscapes, and leveling up to unlock new gear and supplies. You can play the game on a solo world, with friends, or with other online players in PvP or PvE servers, but just know that this is 100% the type of game that you'll either play a few hours of or for over 1,000, as it's very much a make-your-own kind of fun game and might not appeal to everyone on a base level.
Are you the one I've been waiting for?
The sandbox approach can be exciting, but also a little aimless if you haven't played any of the other ARK games before. There's no onboarding system or tutorial to get new players going, so unless you already know what you need to do, or you're okay searching online for everything from taming methods to basic controls, it can feel like you're constantly playing catch-up. A good chunk of my first 2 hours was just dying to the cold, getting chased and killed by dinosaurs, and trying to figure out how to access certain commands in the menus, because another important thing to note here is that the game was definitely designed for PC players first, and the console controls don't feel intuitive or optimized at all. There are a few differences between solo sessions and multiplayer ones. Solo sessions are about what you'd expect, with default settings that can be adjusted such as taming speed and enemy difficulty, and you won't ever have to worry about other players interfering with your actions. Gameplay is typically more stable as well, but it's not without its problems. PvP and PvE servers, on the other hand, allow for cooperation, competitive fights, raiding, and can also feel more exciting since there are other people playing with or around you. Of course, there are still players who will attack you or prevent you from playing the game by griefing you, even in PvE servers, but that's always a general risk of playing online games and isn't unique to Survival Ascended. The crafting and building systems are both fairly deep, and they both eventually get as impressive as they are important to your progression. At the lower levels, you start off only being able to craft and build basic items such as stone tools and thatch walls, but as you level up and gather more resources, you'll also unlock more durable materials and advanced tech. Building is fairly intuitive, with objects snapping into place with each other to make it a little bit easier, and crafting is also pretty straightforward, even if navigating the crafting menu on console is a bit tedious. Taming is probably ARK Survival Ascended's most unique mechanic though. The idea of taming wild creatures is always fun, and there's a real satisfaction in pulling it off successfully, but of course the process isn't explained in-game either. Some creatures such as dodos or triceratops can be tamed by knocking them out and feeding them food, while others may require a bit more finesse, and some can't be tamed at all. Your creatures can level up alongside you and can also be used to fly or ride around on to make travel easier, and of course, they often make fights easier as well. You do need to monitor their health and food levels occasionally, but they're not quite as high maintenance as your character will be. There's a ton of creatures in the game though, and they're just as important as your crafting skills when it comes to improving your chances of survival. Visually, ARK Survival Ascended definitely looks noticeably better than Evolved, and it's to be expected since the PS5 version of the game comes in at a whopping 170 gig. The environments are more detailed, the lighting is improved, and the water and weather effects look significantly better, and they're all consistent throughout each of the massive maps. Despite these major updates, there are some minor issues as well though, with noticeable pop-ins, floating objects, and constant clipping as the main ones that stood out to me. The dinosaurs and other creatures look quite good though, and when you're walking through a dense patch of jungle and hear something huge crashing through the trees, it's really easy to get immersed within the world. The sound design is especially solid, mostly consisting of ambient sound and creature noises, and while there isn't a ton of music in the game, it does add a good amount of tension when it does kick in. If you're already a fan of ARK Survival Evolved or the survival sandbox genre in general, I think that ARK Survival Ascended can offer a lot of fun. The long-term progression, multiplayer aspects, and creature taming can all be rewarding, especially if you're willing to put in the time or you already know what you're getting into. That said, for newcomers like me, it's hard to recommend the game in its current state, at least on PS5. The performance issues, crashes, unoptimized controls, and steep learning curve all made my first 20 hours feel more frustrating than fun, and while there were moments where I wanted to get hooked, it just felt like I kept getting pushed away when the next major bug popped up.
I guess I've been losing faith.
If you're curious and already have a PlayStation Plus subscription for May 2025, it won't cost you anything to give the game a shot, but if you don't and you're still on the fence about it, I'd maybe wait for a sale, or at least for the game to get a little bit more stable, because the idea of this game is fantastic, but the execution left me wanting a lot more. As always though, this is just my opinion. Whether you're just waking up on the beach of Mysterious Land, or you've already managed to tame the world around you, let me know in the comments what you think of ARK Survival Ascended.
You've come so far, Survivor.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.